Start. Ah, there we are. Okay, welcome everybody to our Monday night call. Feels like it's been another day already. I hope you guys are having fun. I was really excited to see some pictures from the New York Regional that happened this weekend, and I can't wait to hear some of the details about that. I kind of wanted to actually open it up. If you guys are, we'll do it at the end, but if you guys want to share just one thing that you took away from that experience, Jen, I think it's always really great to share when you go to a nice big event like that, because you're bringing home so many awesome tidbits for us, and maybe just, not necessarily all the things that you learned, because I'm sure there were so many, but just your take, like your overall feeling walking out from that event would be really special to share with everybody. So if you can maybe think about it. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So tonight's call is going to be interactive. I wanted to talk, I hear that there's some buzz and questions about OMEGAS. And I wanted to address those and, really help you guys get some language in your hands that you feel comfortable taking a step out into the public and opening up those conversations from there. And also when your teams come to you and say, okay, so how are we supposed to talk about these OMEGAS, right? What do you say? How do you open it up? All that kind of stuff, so that everybody feels like they know what to do, or at least how to take that first step to tee it up and then guide people to the tools. So my first question that I wanted to offer to the group was just to ask you guys, when you're talking about Juice Plus, how do you open up that conversation? Everybody does a little bit differently, but I would love to hear maybe 3 people share just, their go-to maybe catchphrase, or we kind of get into a rhythm. If you talk to enough people, you kind of tend to create habits with your language. And I would love for some people to share on how they might do that. Is there anybody that's brave enough to unmute themselves and offer up some perspective there? I'm going to start smiling at people. Anybody? Any seasoned people out there? I'm looking at 2 phone numbers that I could easily call on.
I can chime in.
Thank you, Buffy.
I usually, if there is an opening, if someone says something like, I'm just sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, then I might say something like, I remember feeling that way, but I haven't felt like that in ages. And then they might say, really? Like, why? What, sometimes they take the bait and sometimes they don't. And I just say, it's been a health journey for me, but if you're open, I'd love to share what I have added to my family's routine. But I always ask if you're open.
Sure.
If you're open. And then, there's times where people are not open and they just flat out go, oh, well, yeah, I need this, that, and the other. But I always ask if they're open. Or it could just be as simple as, hey, I'd love to share with you what we've done with my family. If I sent you a video, would you watch it?
Yeah, absolutely.
The Eric Worre GoPro.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm bringing this, because I wanted to bring it to discussion so that you guys can offer in your own perspective. So now my second question to that, Buffy, would be, how would you distinct, would there be a distinction between OMEGAS and Juice Plus at this point in time, or would you maybe couple them all together? How would you maybe think about approaching that with somebody that's new? Because the question on the table is pretty much,
I'd couple it all together, because, the trio is filling a gap that we clearly were not filling on our own. Mm-hmm. And we do not eat enough fish. We simply don't. Family. We don't eat enough fish. As a family, we don't eat enough seeds. I'm trying. We have gotten a lot better, but it's just one more thing that just takes the pressure off of me and gives me peace of mind and that assurance.
Okay. So a solution to a problem is what I'm hearing.
For my family, yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Is there anybody else that wants to share a little bit about how they might open up a conversation, just standard conversation, Juice Plus, what they've done in the past, what's been comfortable for them, what's gotten the conversation moving forward? Anybody?
I'm looking at
Yeah.
I just had some success for the first time today because I haven't been having great success. But someone just asked me you said you're working now. What are you doing? And I do have a small, other part-time job. So I opened up saying that. Actually, I have to check my wording of what. Can you still hear me?
Yeah. Yep, we can hear you. Oh,
she's actually is. Can you hear me still?
Yeah. Yep. You're frozen, but we can hear you.
I'm trying to see the wording that I used, and this just worked. I was surprised, but it just worked. So I said I was working at this as an administrator somewhere, and I said I also recently started working as a Juice Plus rep. So if someone asks like what you've been up to, I guess, or like what you're doing for a job, like if you haven't seen someone in a while, I said Samantha, my husband, and I have all been taking these these Juice Plus products with wonderful results, originally recommended by a friend and also a nutritionist. It's done wonders. So I originally decided to sign on. I was just honest with her because a few of Samantha's nurses were interested and I could get the product for free. And I wrote anything to save money with a big smiley face. Then I realized it was helping a lot of people and decided to take it a bit more seriously. Went to my first conference this weekend and it inspired me. And she wrote, "Nice. I'm interested in hearing about it. Will you ever do a presentation or event?" And then I, made a response, and she's like, "I'd love to support you. A few of my friends would definitely be interested." She's a speech therapist, speech and language pathologist. She's the one who got Samantha to start eating again when she was younger. So I feel like I've just, I sent Danielle a message saying I have a good opportunity. So I'm trying to figure out the next step with that. But I think if someone asks you what you've been up to or what you're doing for work, or it's a good way to just
open the
for me that worked. That was the best response I got, where someone was like totally interested right away from one text message.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't know if that was helpful at all.
No, I think it is because, what you came to that conversation with was confidence. That's what I heard in that language. The language was, and I'm doing this too. And it's really, it's made a big difference, or whatever your language was that space. I'm inspired. You use the word inspired. That word is contagious for people. That's a really catchy word. I was so inspired by something I just learned the other night. I thought I'd call and share it with you. And, hey, remember that conversation we had, a week ago or a month ago or even a year ago, and you were really frustrated with this or that. Have you found a solution to that yet? Asking people, kind of meeting them where they're at, asking them a question, opening the door. And as it pertains to our product story with the Omegas, this is what I wanted to kind of step in here. I think there's two different avenues. First of all, we have a bunch of happy customers that are taking Juice Plus. And it's similar to how we introduced, when I first started, it was all about the duo. We just had the red and green, the purple was like an add-on, okay? And if you can imagine, right? Now we would like never even imagine talking or sharing with anybody like that, because we know how much more of an impact it makes when you have the trio all together. But that's how I started. So we had to shift our language back then to be like, you know what, to our customers that were just consuming the red or the green capsules, we would call them and say things like, you know what, have we talked about the vineyard yet? And let them answer, and just see. I wanted to give you an opportunity to learn what I've been learning, because it's really powerful and it's making such a huge difference. And for me personally, I would say my story, which is when I added it to my diet, my migraines went away. And that's a major, marker of inflammation, which I didn't even realize that was possible. But who knows what's going on in your body? Like, if you're open to giving it a try, I would certainly love you to have the great experiences that I'm having too. So if somebody that you have in your customer base is only taking, X product, I think that's a great way to open the door. Is just check in on them and see how they're doing, and then ask them the simple question, hey, I'm just curious, have we talked about this yet? And sometimes it could be the complete and the Omegas. Have we talked about the other products that we have? We only have a handful, but they're all amazing. I know you're really happy with this. Would you be open to listening to some information? So that would be maybe one way I think that we can go in the door, particularly with the happy customers. And then the other question you might want to ask those people, especially the ones that are really close to you, you might want to ask them this question and say, I'm doing a little market research and I'm really curious. Do you currently take an Omega? And if so, which one is it? What is it? And try to gauge which of the people in your population are already taking Omegas. And then, you write it down, you listen. Are you happy with that product? Where do you get it from? How much does it cost? I would ask questions and be curious about it. And when they're going to eventually say, so why are you asking all these questions, And you can then just simply say, well, we are releasing in full release in October our Omega product. It's a vegan product. We're bypassing the fish and going straight to the source, and then give a little education. And all people really need to know is that the fish are toxic because the water is polluted, right? So what our company has done is gone directly to the algae and the other fruit and vegetable sources and has taken the omegas from there directly and put them right into our bodies. So they're cleaner, they're more accessible, and they're healthier. Would you be open to some information or maybe giving it a try? I'd love to see how you think. Yeah, Michelle.
Can you say that one more time? The fish are toxic because the water's polluted, so they go into say that again.
They're cleaner.
They go directly to the source and bypass the fish.
Okay, I have a stupid question.
No stupid questions. Yeah.
If the fish are polluted, why is the algae not polluted?
Good question. Not stupid.
Not stupid. I would relate it back to how we make products and the quality of how we make products. The thing about algae is you can grow it in an environment and take it out and eat it, utilize it, whatever. But the fish have to live in the water for years sometimes, swimming around, eating plastic, doing all sorts of stuff, right? All over the place. So just knowing the way that we have our quality control, I feel a lot safer, getting it from our sourcing than leaving it up to chance, or getting it from these farms too. Because a lot of the farms, they're just pumping chemicals and byproducts and stuff into the stuff to get, what a product out that they want. We're trying to responsibly go to the source to provide humans with what they need. We're not necessarily trying to push bottles on a shelf. You know what I mean?
So we grow our own algae?
I have to verify that, but I want to say that knowing the company, they would never put something in a bottle or in a capsule that had any toxicity to it because of what we stand for and how they produce products. So let me get that answer for you, Jen, because it's a really good question.
I have a question.
Yep.
What have whoever you guys who've been taking it, what have you found, or are there any studies yet or anything?
I want to defer to everybody else first before I respond with mine. Marie, have you been taking it? Yeah. Have you noticed anything on your side?
I've been taking it, I want to say for about 1 or 2 months. Not a long time. I have not noticed anything different. Mm-hmm. But I haven't been consistent with my, dairy-free, gluten-free regimen either. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of, so I haven't noticed anything positive. No.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
Danielle said she's noticed her hair and nails growing way faster. I was going to say that's the number one thing that I keep hearing from people is the hair and the nails. It's like instant or something. It's really kind of cool. Which, you could see my roots already. It's like crazy how I'm having to go in faster.
I don't know if I want my hair to grow faster.
But that's good, healthy proteins. Like you've got to think about protein synthesis. Your body is producing, healthier cells faster, right? When you have more nutrition in there. So think of the women. I keep thinking about Dr. Sears in one of the presentations he did recently at our preschool, and he was talking about brain health. And in his talk, he was saying how at the end, he said they're tying postpartum to a lack of omega-3s. And what happens is the last 3 months of the baby in gestation, their brains are building at such a fast rate that they're sucking out all the omegas from the mom. And it comes out of all different sources. And so she's left in deficit, which is tripping her into postpartum depression, which is really kind of a crazy thing to think that you could get ahead of that, And so he in his talk was talking about eating wild salmon and all this other stuff, and which we do too, I mean, we do a lot of salmon in our house, and we get it from really expensive sourcing because I know enough about fish to know where you need to get it from. But, here's the other thing. If everybody starts going to all those sources, we're going to tire that out too. So we've got to get sustainable solutions. And I just see the omegas as such a sustainable solutions because plants are so easy to grow, versus all the other things that you have to do to make the fish safe. So that's one personal, thing that I'm excited about. Michelle.
One more question. Sorry, I'm like out of words for the evening. Are the omegas a supplement label?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And whole food sourced.
Other than the hair and the nails, what other things are people experiencing?
I think it's, to be honest, I've been hearing stuff about joints. Danielle, all the info on that can be found in your virtual office. Thank you, Danielle. She's like, I need a teleprompter. Danielle needs to write me a teleprompter. Thank you, Danielle. I have not been on the virtual office, so she would know better than I. But yeah, we're hearing, you're going to hear a lot coming out of conference too about personal experiences. But if you guys start studying and do a little bit of this yourself, look up the omegas that are in the product, see what they do for the body, right? And you can start to draw conclusions based on that too. But we're going to find a lot of the stuff. Most of it's brain health that I know, heart health awareness, joint health, that kind of stuff when it comes to omegas, inflammation reduction and whatnot. I find that my thoughts are clearer. I'm finding a little bit like it's impacting me that way. I don't get migraines anymore, but I still used to get headaches a little bit. I'm getting less of those, even in the stressful time that I'm in. My joints, I have noticed that my ankle, I had a really bad ankle injury almost a year ago, and that's like really seems to be helping in that regard. And that's like one of my joints. So those are my own personal experiences. And I can't put a finger on it, but I feel better. And it's just in general. Yeah, Jen?
I had to jump off for a second. I'm sorry, my daughter was screaming. Did anyone make any mention of mental health? I'm just hoping, not to tell my story too much, but I suffer from depression, and I know I have never gotten enough omegas in my diet. I know that. I've never consistently taken them. I've never consistently eaten fish. I'm just curious, has anyone who's been on it long enough, have you heard any stories about feeling
the blues and all that? I haven't heard enough.
Feeling better from it.
Yeah. I haven't heard any. I think it's because it's been so new, you guys. Like, you have to understand, like, we're in the infancy of this. Like, I haven't personally heard much about that. I just know that.
Melissa,
go ahead. Yeah.
If anyone's listened and heard Dr. Sears talk about the brain and health, his brain and health lecture, the more omegas you put into your body, the better off that is to fight against anxiety and depression.
Oh my God, can I get 10 bottles right now?
Please. There's a lot of factors that he talks about, but exercising outside, feeling that sun on your skin. But I clearly remember him talking about omegas because I remember going, all right, that's it. We're getting fish. We're getting salmon oil. So I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you.
And that goes back to the whole baby blues thing that I was talking about, right? So I think that, what you guys are going to find is that it's not so much, again, we don't want to be the FDA going out there trying to, prescribe things for people. What we want to do is ask them, are you taking an omega? Have we talked about this? I'm learning too, but this seems really cool to me. I love the fact that they took, this concept that they took years to put together, formulated, put it out there. There's no fish involved. It's a totally vegan product, capsule and all. And it tastes good, and people are really enjoying it. I mean, that would be kind of my open. I would under promise, over deliver, like we do with the capsules also, but it just rounds out the story, for all these years. And you could say this, for all these years, our doctors have gotten up in front of the stage and told people, you need to have your Juice Plus Trio, B12 and omegas. That's what they told people all the time. B12 comes from a different source. It doesn't come from the plants, and the omegas come from, fish oil. And so it's really great now that we have those offerings, and they've included the B12 into our shake. So there's a little bit of it there, but that it just makes natural sense that we would have evolved into offering an omega product. Does that make sense? Because now people don't have to go out elsewhere. And honestly, people were buying cod liver and all that other stuff, which is junk. And if you're, yeah, exactly, Marie. I mean, you burp up one of the, I mean, some of these, it's so funny. I have a group of teachers that I was working with just recently, and they were like, oh my gosh, you always know the people that take their, like, the salmon oil. It's just disgusting. They burp up all day long. You can smell them, like, coming down the hall or whatever, and there's no smell coming from it, which is a nice benefit. So there are a lot of people, if you just ask that question, are you taking one? Have you ever considered taking one? Have we talked about this? That's going to open the door in a simple, natural way where you're not like, hey, I've got this new product and I wanted to call and tell you about it, right? Like, you want to make it conversational. It's always about servicing our people and making them happy. And, and in the end, we really want their feedback too. We want their feedback. We want to see what they're experiencing. And a lot of people find, a big use for this. A lot of doctors tell people to go and get stuff. Now, Gina was sending me a message. Everyone's sending me messages. Danielle's got me stuff. I love you, Danielle. I'm just reading your message right now. Okay. Feel, felt, found. So that's one of the techniques. I'm going to have you talk about that when you get on, because you're better at it than I am. I've noticed my hair and nail growing. I've heard of someone else feeling better taking since April. So I think that was in response, Jen, to what you were asking. Yeah. And then Gina, you had mentioned some stuff too about texting me over. I really want to hear your voice. So if you want to jump on here about the heart health piece, because I know this is a sensitive space for you right now, that would be awesome.
The omegas are just so important for heart health. I mean, omegas are important for everything, like brain health. If Connor, would get a concussion on the hockey team, they immediately put them on fish oil. I think what a lot of people are finally talking about, kind of like ushering in like the imbalance of 3s and 6s in the American diet. Yeah. We have so many omega-6s in our diet, and the ratio is like 1 to 25, and I think it's supposed to be 1 to 3. And so we need to really up our omega-3s, because that imbalance is causing everything from like, they're from the ADHD to the weight like depression. It's that imbalance of the 3 and 6. So I mean, I think the omegas are such an exciting project. Sorry, my dog's playing with a fake pig. When we went for cardiac follow-up with my dad after his heart attack, the doctor did talk about getting on an omega. And his cardiac rehab guy had him, looking into omegas as well. So, I know that I'm going to be buying a package of that for my dad when I'm out there in October, Yeah. So, I mean, I think, and you don't see, omega, you've got parents that are, their kids have autism or ADHD, and the first thing you start, putting them on is you change their diet and you put them on a fish oil, right?
Yeah. And the reason, let me just explain the reason for that, because from special ed, we used to, yes, exactly. We would recommend that all the time. And because it helps lubricate the synapse in the brain. So to keep your brain working properly, when you have enough omegas in there, the synapse is the energy source that goes from a thought into fruition. So like when you tell your hand to move or to put a thumbs up or to answer a question or any of those things, to lubricate the synapse just lubricates the process with which information travels in your brain. So brain health. Yeah. So brain health, heart health, joints. I think those 3 things. And then hair and nails are like a beautiful byproduct. And I've heard people too, the other thing I forgot to mention, Wendy Campbell did a big talk on this and like one of the chats, it was too long to forward down, but she was talking about, her wrinkles are going away in certain parts of her forehead, that she was like, well, that's a cool added benefit, right? Also with that. Sorry, Gina, I jumped in there. There's something else that you wanted to add?
No, I just think that, you don't find a product that combines all of those omegas. Yeah. Usually people are out searching for an omega-3, but, they, look over, all those, the 6, 5, and 9, like those are really as well. And I'm, constantly learning, a lot of information about what those particular omegas do. I'm sure it's available on, Virtual Office. I haven't looked myself, but I just, it truly is something that just about everybody, I think everybody needs, so.
Well, and I agree. And I think that, I always say, I think it's the same thing for Juice Plus, that it's truly from consuming Juice Plus regularly on a daily basis. Like, people, the only reason they've ever quit with me is because they just stopped taking it and they just couldn't get into a habit. They didn't take it seriously enough. That was really the one reason. So, just too, is that they didn't just whip this together and put the product out. They did it just like they do everything. There was a lot of time spent. There were a lot of doctors' involvement. They had, Dr. Sears, Mitra Ray, all of the top professionals that we have communicating, talking, roundtabling to put this together. And so, in the process of that, you just have to know that, the brain power behind this particular Smokeltillo came out plus, and he did it by himself and with a couple of things, and we're able to use the technology to get the fruits in there and whatnot. And the vineyard came later, but this is something that was like really, really intentional in terms of putting to market. So I just feel really good about that in terms of the ingredients, and what's in there. Jen Bernstein, did you have something?
I do. How much does it cost?
How much does it cost, you gues?
$120.
It's the same as the vineyard, right? 20, 29. Or something.
$25.
Including
So
the shipping, though, I would guess.
A month?
That's a 4-month supply.
Yes.
That comes to
Yes.
133. Is that what you said, Michelle?
33.25.
No, I thought it was 120.
Yeah, because
20 pay in full.
that's prior to, but they would add the shipping onto that, so that makes sense. Yeah, so $33.25
a month.
Yeah.
I just was scrolling through our Honeybees page. There was a really good picture
Mm-hmm.
that I don't remember if Danielle or Chris Ann put it up. I can't find it, but that my mother actually saw that, and that sparked her attention. And
Okay.
like,
what did it say, or do you remember?
it was all about omegas, and it was a person, the body, and there was
Mhm.
like something coming out of the brain, like what it's good for, the brain, the heart. There was like arrows.
Was it the Dr. Sears drawing? Was it like a drawing?
I can't remember. I think
I have that in my phone.
Saw it. She said, "I want you to get me those." I'm like, okay.
Okay, good.
Because I guess something that she was, just sparked her interest just by looking at that. I think Chris Ann put it up. I'm trying to look for it.
But I have another question. I'm like full of
Yeah, go
questions
ahead.
now.
So, it's good.
Kids versus adults. What's the Mark's turning 8 next month, so in October. So I'm really interested in it for him. For Andrew's 12. Like, is that half a dose of ours? Like, how does it work for kids?
I would probably start with half a dose and feel safe with that, and then let's get that information from conference,
Okay.
and see, as we go. Again,
Like,
we're piloting a product. You guys are in the beginning of an infancy here, which is really special. So there have been some challenges with it, and this happens anytime you do a product launch with any kind of thing. It gets out there, then you got to work out the kinks a little bit. So, like, for some of them, we had, oh my gosh, it was so funny, years ago when they first changed the complete recipe and they put in algae and some other stuff. It was like coming in, it was smelling really, really bad. And we had to like ship them back. It was like a whole big mess, but with these ones, they're finding that some of the capsules, due to the heat in some places, have burst or, created an issue. So if anything like that happens, I need to hear all that information, that feedback. Just say, if it happens to a customer, be like, no problem. The company will replace the bottle. No hands up. It's the infancy of the product here, and the first wave of this curve. It's a pretty special place to be. Just really, edify them, like really reinforce that and say, but we'll take care of that for you. Can you do me a favor and look at the bottom of the bottle? I'm going to need you to take a picture of that and send that to me, because what we're trying to see is, did some of those broken capsules and things come from one batch, or was it, random, or we want to make it right, This also happened when we did the vegan capsules for the Juice Plus years ago. They were breaking in transport. They weren't strong enough. They kept falling apart. So, so just know that that's, we're going to fix anything that pops up,
Actually, I swallow, I think Michelle's. I mean, they're really nice. Like it's a nice enclosed, easy to swallow. My kids swallow pills now, so I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah. And those will be the capsules that we're going to use for Juice Plus moving forward, by the way.
Awesome. Do customers need to purchase like a 2-month supply, a 4-month, like what's the commitment for them?
It's the same thing as we always do, 4-month supply.
Okay.
The billing is all the same. It kind of, it works right in there. Roughly basically if they were to do everything, if they did the trio, the Omegas, and like a monthly shake order, they're looking at about $150, for everything. If you're doing a shake every day.
Gotcha.
So roughly, which is still really affordable, you guys. If you price that against like Plexus and some of these other things that are out there, the supplement stuff can be really high, and we get kids for free in that process too, and it's food, so you're offsetting food. So there really is a huge benefit to doing it all. Even the Omegas that I bought from that Wild Source, that place, they went rancid, so they were disgusting. I had to throw out like 90% of it, and it was over $100 a month to get them from a good source. So really, I think it's well priced for the quality that we're offering.
So glad you seeing me in class helping your teacher out today made such an impact.
Buffy? Buffy, were you saying something to that?
I found the picture.
Oh my gosh, I thought I was on mute. That's awesome.
It did make an impact. We appreciate seeing you there.
Real life right there. Hashtag Mominate Easy.
All right, somebody had a question?
No, I found the picture. You can't.
Oh, good.
I was looking for it.
Can you post it on our Voxer so we can see it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Who posted it?
Chris Ann, I just went probably back to her February pictures.
Oh, I was scouring her Facebook posts. I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I just found it. Okay, that made me feel better. So I have another question.
Yeah.
Because I like to say, that Juice Plus, there isn't a supplement label. It's a nutrition label on the back. So now these are a supplement label. So if someone is already taking Omegas, what would you say to make them more intrigued to take this rather than continue taking their supplement?
Good question. Great question. So first and foremost, you're not going to find the variety that you have in our Omega product. That's the first thing. There's so many, and they're all together in one space. The other piece is it's the quality with which it's put together.
Okay.
And it has to be a supplement, Michelle, just so you know, because it's not the same thing as taking the avocado and putting it in the capsule. Do you see my point? Or taking the algae itself and putting the algae in the capsule. That's different than Juice Plus. Juice Plus is the food that we're not eating. So we take it one step further to give people all of the thousands of micronutrients that come along with that produce, which is what makes it so much more powerful than a multivitamin. But the Omegas are unique too, and they serve a different purpose, which is why they're labeled that way and created that way. And they still, I think, if you were to measure it out cost effective wise, have you priced out wild salmon lately? It's quite pricey,
I was going to say, I bought an Omega. It's probably still in my fridge. I could take a picture of it for you guys. And it was a liquid, and it didn't really taste, because that's the thing, to get my kids to drink it, because they all taste terrible. It was really expensive.
Yeah.
I might have the price tag on it. I mean, this was a liquid bottle that was to last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It was really this sounds affordable. And if I'm getting that is this.
And the people
for less than $30 a month.
You can't exactly. $50, $60 for a decent one, $100 for a good one, really good one. So I think that what you're going to find is that when you ask that question, are you taking an Omega? You're going to find the people that already have that experience, or they might just be taking a cheap Costco one, and that opens the door for some education. Would you be open to seeing, how these two compare, that kind of thing?
That was me.
Three-way calls are really powerful, so just feel free, if you get stuck, always just say, let me see if I can get my friend on the phone and talk through this a little bit. You've got some great questions. I want to make sure we get them answered. We're service providers. We're helping people. We're servicing, and just say, we're going through this together. It's pretty exciting to be part of it. A pilot piece like this.
Melissa.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
It's Gina. Okay. So,
hi.
I just sent a text message while we were talking to Susan, one of my customers. Susan, she's on Juice Plus.
Yeah.
She's got, the kids have ADHD. She has them on already, Omegas. And so this is what I sent. I said, hey, are you still giving the girls Omegas? I didn't know if we had talked, if I had talked to you about our new vegan Omegas that are Omegas 3, 6, 9, 5, and 7. And then I said, oh my gosh, they taste like orange. No more fishy yuckiness for the girls to have to swallow. So I'm just waiting for her response.
Awesome. Perfect.
She's already taking Omegas. I know, it's been a conversation with us in the past of her trying to find, we've taken the Nordic ones, and, we've discussed it before. So that door's open.
Awesome. Exactly. And that's it. You just want to be opening doors, asking questions. You may find that the Omega conversation with non-customers leads to them then having a trial or giving it a chance with Juice Plus. That's the other thing too. Once people feel comfortable with our company, then they tend to explore more products. So they don't always have to come in through the Juice Plus door, to get qualified for something else. Maybe they're looking for a shake. Maybe they like Omegas. Maybe those are the two things that they start out with because that's what they're comfortable taking. And then, once they have a great experience and you're making sure that they're happy, then we take the next step and we ask them questions about the Omegas. About Juice Plus. So you just never know which door they're going to walk through. Yes, Jen?
Are they ever going to come out with them in a gummy?
I hope so. I don't have any information on that yet, but I do hope so. And I think we're all asking that too. Yeah.
So I'm wondering, going back to what Lisa asked about her son, and you said maybe a half dose. How would you do a half dose of the capsule?
1 capsule instead of 2.
Oh, 2 capsules a dose. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Of course. All right. Are you guys feeling comfortable?
Drink the liquid then, right? Because he can't swallow the capsule.
You could just put it right in a shake. You could put it right on his tongue. You could put it, in orange juice. But you'll probably lose a little bit of, runoff if you put it into something, or applesauce or whatever. It is orangey, so it's not going to taste rancid or weird, I think it might be easier for people to take it that way. Okay. So my biggest question is, do we feel equipped to get off the phone now and start having these conversations with people? Yeah?
A little better.
Yes.
A little better, okay.
Basically, when we're at conference or in that time frame, we can, let's say I start talking to my customers and they all want it. Right?
Yeah.
So let's say I jot it down and I get ready to go. So when I'm at conference, I can just put their orders
pre-order. Yep, absolutely. And you can say, listen, I'm taking pre-orders now. This is going to be, it's a hot item. It's the first of its kind. There's no vegan product on the market, and people are loving it. So we sold out already once and have refilled up. So we're ready to go. If you are interested in giving it a try, I'd love for you to, to get you on the list now so I can get that order in when I'm there.
So ours is the only vegan Omega.
It is the only one of its kind. Yeah. Okay. Hold on, Danielle. I've got more. Here she goes. That's an exciting time to talk to people when you're at conference. Yeah, there's excitement. Absolutely. She's right. There's so much energy behind you too. So yeah, that's a good time to make the calls to people, but I would be talking to them and saying, hey, listen, I'm going out there. It's going to be amazing. And when people see how committed you are, Jen, and that you're going to a conference for this, they take you seriously. They really do, and it's a big professional stance to go to a conference and to get on a plane and go and get yourself educated about something. So they really do love to hear that from people when you're doing that.
I'm going to show a post that I found. Can you see it? Wait, where is it?
No.
Wait.
Can you post it? Take a screenshot and just put it on the Boxer chat so we can see.
Yeah, it has a picture of a fish.
Yeah.
This actually, and it says, "Make a fish happy. Try out new plant-based vegan full spectrum Omegas. We're cutting out the middle."
There you go. See? we're going to get really creative about it. It's, yeah.
Or she got this somewhere. This isn't obviously another rep.
Yeah, you can borrow those things. You just, I mean, we pretty much have a universal, I would maybe as a courtesy message them and say, I really loved your post. Do you mind if I borrow that? You know? But,
like she designed this herself, or this is somewhere?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking at. So, but the virtual office has all those images, and you're going to get more coming off conference. They like to release a lot of content and that kind of stuff. So feel free. I think we've, you know, before we weren't allowed to make that kind of stuff, but now it's kind of hard to control it because social media has gotten so strong that people have been able to, you know, use Canva and all sorts of stuff to put things together. So the company's gotten a little bit looser about it. I always like to use the company material if we have it first because they're so well done and the images come across really clean and clear. But if you find something that's catchy that resonates with you, then it's probably going to resonate with the people you talk to. So don't be afraid to use it, you know?
Yeah, it's very, I'll send it. It's very colorful and eye-catching. And it literally, as I was going through Instagram, it made me stop.
There you go. So it worked. Yeah. So there you go. All right. We're getting to the end here. I know we're a little bit over time, but this is a hot topic. So is there anything else that you guys feel like you need? Michelle, you said feeling better. Is there anything else before we hang up that would help you make you feel even more better? I would also encourage you to talk to your reps. You know, if you have reps that are on your team that are not necessarily active right now, because that happens to all of us, be calling them and saying, hey, listen, I'd love for you to try this. You know, we have this new Omega product. It's pretty awesome. Are there people in your life that, you know, that you have talked to about or whatever? Or what about some of your customers that you've got? I know that you're not really building right now, but that's okay. You know, maybe we can talk to them together and that kind of thing. And you can work through people that way to bring this information to them. Or if there's somebody on your team that you know is not actively working at all, you know, I can step in with you and make those calls down into the customer base and just let them know and say, listen, it's my responsibility as a leader in the company to make sure that everybody's aware of these things. And we've got this really awesome product that just got released. You know, we're just curious if you've ever tried an Omega or thought about it, you know, get a chance to get a temperature pulse on how their experience is going. And we can work in that way too. So I think everyone's deserving of it. You just, you know, people are spending money on this stuff, you guys, they might as well spend it with us, you know, and we know that we can deliver a safer product than what's out on the market. So it's kind of a responsibility on our part. Buffy, did you have something else?
Oh, I just wanted to say that my kids, Addie's 6, Zach's 9, and they've been doing half a dose of the Omegas pretty much ever since conference. There was a time where Zach and I weren't taking it, but we are all taking it now, and we have for the last couple of months, and the kids are doing great with it.
Awesome. I love it. And do they swallow the capsule, or do they chew it? Do you put it in something?
They swallow the capsules.
Mm-hmm. Good for you.
Do your homework.
Awesome. All right. Well, if that's it, you guys, then I say we wrap it up and everyone get off the phone and go make your list right now of who you want to talk to. Maybe text 3 people right now, you know, with just the verbiage while it's fresh on your mind, and ask them that question. Hey, I have a question. You know, I'm curious. Do you take an Omega currently? And if they say yes, then you say, what is it? You know, always ask one question at a time. Make sure they respond to each one question. That gets the dialogue going back and forth. You know, and then after you've asked a couple of questions, are you happy with it? You know, why do you take it? I always love to ask why. Most of the time it's because their doctor told them to, or they read an article that said that it's a good thing to take, you know? And then the last question would just be, well, would you be open to taking a look at what we've got? We've got a product launch coming out in October, and it's pretty special. They're like amazing and they taste great, you know, and just see. You may find people tell you, let me just run through what I have in my cabinet and then let's try, you know, and then say, great, what would be a good time to follow up with you? Make sure you put that in your calendar. Okay. Sound good? Okay. That's all I got. Thank you guys for coming on. And if more questions come up, just post them on the Boxer chat. Let's have this conversation going. Okay. We want to get good at this because it's a huge opportunity for all of us. Yeah. All right. Have a great day.
Thanks, Melissa.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you, Melissa. Bye, everyone.